Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Zimbabwe Daily. We are coming to you live from our studios, and we want to talk about what's happening in Gokwe right now. As you have seen, we have a number of messages coming through, distress calls coming through um, from Gokwe, where it seems like some ZANU-PF youth have turned the area into a war zone. Advocate Nelson Chamisa was expected to address Gokwe rally today, but unfortunately, because of the chaos that has been taking place there, we see that the program has been affected. I'm here with Titi. Maybe you can just go through the messages that have been coming through, Titi.
Yeah, this is really said. Fadzai tweeted, alert, there's been an escalation of violence in Gokwe ahead of a rally to be addressed by Change Champion in Chief at Nelson Chamisa and journalist Tongai Mwenje, Tony Rutsito, Pelagia Mpurwa, and Chelsea Mashawa Mombe, one of our workmates, has been heavily beaten by some PF thugs. And we heard that Tony lost a tooth because of that. And seeing these photos, Yvonne, it's really sad that, as a journalist, you're just going to cover to make sure that people are safe, and then you are caught up in such a violent time. And as it is said that Pelagia is not in a better position because
Yes.
she was beaten,
And she sustained some head injuries.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's the information that we managed to get a couple of minutes ago. But right now, we also heard that the Citizens Coalition for Change leader Nelson Chamisa had to abandon the rally in Chitekete in Gokwe after ZANU-PF mobs surrounded his convoy in tense scenes. The Triple C leader was whisked away from the scene by security, according to witnesses. So right now we actually don't know the correct situation on the ground, as there's a poor network in Gokwe, and the people that are there are failing to get through. We managed to speak to the journalists. Unfortunately, most, if not most of their gadgets, their communication gadgets, were taken by the ZANU-PF youths who attacked them at the venue. And it brings into perspective, the argument that we're always making, that journalism is not a crime. We are covering an event, we are covering what is going on in our country. And when such situations happen, it then puts into question the forms of protection that we actually have as journalists, Titi.
And also, also what happened in Ema yesterday.
Yes.
There was violence again, and I think we have an audio of the person who was mobilizing people to
Yes.
to cause violence.
You can share it, then we can play it with the rest of the people.
Yes, and say this is a voice of Isaac Chingoza, who organized violence, and he have been arrested by the Dema police. And you can just hear for yourself how he made sure that he mobilized people to cause violence. And we are saying we're only 12 months before the next general elections. And do you think Zimbabweans are safe? And remember to continue to send us through your messages. If you have any questions, let's talk.
Okay. Yeah. Please go ahead.
So you can just send through your messages. And what can we do, Zimbabweans, to make sure that people are safe? Because you're a journalist and you're just covering, and to make sure that people are safe. And then you come up to see that people from other political parties are making sure that they are causing violence, and nothing is happening to that.
Yeah.
This is also what happened in Seke, when More Blessing was attacked, or when More Blessing was adopted, right?
Right.
It was posted on Twitter. This is what is happening.
And the police hasn't said anything about what's happening in Gokwe. The police hasn't said anything about what happened in Seke yesterday. And we continue to have this kind of coverage of the area because nothing is being done. And that's really worrisome. When you then get citizens saying we need guns, that shows that something is
Is
really
wrong.
not working. Nicholas, thank you so much for coming through. This is really heart rending, Enias Chinengo, indeed. And it's really disappointing that we have people in this generation who are still thinking backwardly like this. We'll play this audio, and so that you Zimbabweans can then judge for yourselves.
Makadiko macomrades, right, ndinoda kuzivisa madistrict chairpersons ose, main board, women's league neyouth league, kuti mese tikukumbira kuti mese tine musangano watiri kuda kuti uitwe iye zvino izvi pakunaka kuward 6. tiri kuda kunodhifenda pati chamisa ari kunzi ari kuuya maseke nhasi. Saka ndikukumbirawo macomrades kune mawadhi ari paclosest neward 6 mese ngatiuyei neuwandu tikukumbirisana leadership. Ndiwo mukana watinawo wekuratidza baba vamunangagwa kuti we are there for kusapota ivo baba vedu vamunangagwa. Saka ndiri kukumbirisa kuti mese ward 2 ward 1 ngatimhanyei tese tinodhifenda our revolution. Maita basa.
So for ZANU-PF and its leaders, the best way to defend the revolution is by meting violence on fellow citizens. And I think, as you can all see, that we really cannot afford to go to the next election under this environment. It means that if we start seeing the bloodbath today, it's going to be a problem come 2023,
And I think now the president himself, the president of Zimbabwe himself, should address this, because he is the one who has the power to stop anything that happens in Zimbabwe. So people cannot be afraid because we are going to the next election. People cannot be afraid to exercise their constitutional right, which is to vote, which is to support any political party that you are interested in supporting, because you'll be afraid, violence will come your way, your children will be abused, So a lot of things are happening. Zimbabweans, thank you so much for joining us. Walasa Kashamaka, thank you so much for joining us. He says, why keep voting your oppressors? Why not remove ZANU-PF from power? Why don't you invite assistance from the other countries? But then the reason is, what we think is, our ZRP should be on the forefront to make sure that people are safe in Zimbabwe.
We have a serious constitutional problem. We have a serious constitutional problem. I think during our understanding democracy conversations, even the lawyers were bemoaning the fact that the constitution is very clear. The person's rights are very clear, but nobody is there to ensure that it happens. The police are complicit in these violent times. The judiciary itself is complicit. The government itself is complicit. So we have a situation where there is no political will to see Zimbabwe moving forward. There is no political will to see our nation functioning. And this is exactly what we are seeing in Gokwe today. Just for to say, I'm very disappointed by those ZANU-PF thugs. The police must do the job by arresting that culprit behind this, because I think there is someone funding them. Indeed. It's as simple as that. Somebody commits a crime, they're arrested, but not in Zimbabwe. I think that explains why Hopo Chingono yesterday was also breathing fire on Twitter, saying nobody gets to talk about the real issues that are happening in Zimbabwe. Instead, we get to focus on things that don't help us move this nation forward, and really, who is going to arrest those culprits? It's known, it's been mentioned, but no police statement has come through as yet, unless you've seen something. I haven't.
But I also want to kind of appreciate the Gokwe community, because right now they still planning to continue with their rally, despite of what has happened on the ground. And also Fadzai tweeted 48 minutes ago saying ZANU-PF cars have barricaded raids and attacked the president's motorcade as he approached the Gokwe,
Kabuyuni.
Kabuyuni. The thugs are armed with machetes. The rally will proceed despite these security emergencies. It shows his bravery to be representing people, but also his safety also matters, because we cannot go to an election without other political parties at play because of something that might have happened. And I recently saw that on Twitter, people were saying, hey, Chamisa is quiet, hey, Chamisa is not doing anything, hey, kana rally or what. But also remember, if you get arrested, tumnenda kaku election musna a leader to those who belong to the opposition. So we just have to also look at all sides and see
Right.
what we do, what can people do to make sure that we also go to the elections with our candidates in place.
Enias Chinengo says, how dare someone who is penniless become so restless to defend someone who has caused utter suffering and deprivation? What is it that ZANU-PF and Mnangagwa have done in the past 42 years that he needs to be defended from Chamisa? Our people should wake up and never be used in exchange of a card and a t-shirt. And that's the sad reality that we have, Enias, when you have got a hapless youth, young people who have got no jobs, young people who have got nothing better to do. You give them a card and a t-shirt and they will carry out your dirty work. And Obet Matutu says we can't depend on our ZANU-PF police who has been arrested in ZANU-PF side except for people of the opposition. I think this has now become the reality that we live with on a daily basis. Whenever we are reporting the news, it's so and so from the opposition has been arrested and nothing has been done. You know, somebody actually issued a threat, you know, in my, where was it?
It was a rural setup, a suburb.
Berengwa.
Yes.
It was in Berengwa and said, we want Nelson Chamisa dead. And that person is
still
still
there.
walking, roaming freely. And yet we are saying we want a Zimbabwe that is free.
And yet during the week there was someone somewhere who was arrested just for tearing apart a cape with Mnangagwa's face, and those people went to court.
So there is so much that still needs to be done in our country in order for us to get into a better situation. Yvonne Zairo, you say Chiwenga, the Mparizi gave warning one. Thank you so much for coming through. Jack and Monamana say, who is sponsoring this ZANU-PF hooligans? I think that's a critical question. But then again, we cannot be surprised, you know, given that the money that we have as a country, we never find it, you know, fixing the things that need to be fixed. Instead, it goes somewhere, you know. You look at Mayor Wajika Jenna's house, you are shocked. You know, that is in Zimbabwe, the country where everyone is struggling to make ends meet. We have hospitals that don't have, you know, medicine, a mere paracetamol, you know, let alone talk about cancer machines and stuff like that. It's like expecting too much, but we've got these luxurious mansions that we begin to see whenever someone is pointed to it. So we were not surprised about where the money is coming from to sponsor. I think Love Momaduku, it was Professor Love Momaduku who spoke. He says ZANU-PF is able to pay for the nomination fees. Why? Because two corrupt individuals can actually cover that 431,000 bill. So these are the issues. These are the issues. Onismos, you say, Lord, hear our cries. We are now really sick and tired of being abused by ZANU-PF. Please, God. I think this has been a prayer on a lot of people's mouth over time.
And a lot of interesting you know, messages coming through the Twitter space. And someone says I think they are really trained militias in those ZANU-PF thugs, because the way they are doing things is not from an ordinary citizen. ZAN supporters are frail and wasted. They live amongst us. We see them every day. And someone says, I love CCC, but I think if we don't have a strategy to fight back and defend ourselves, let's stop people who die unnecessarily. So you see, people are really angry, and we still need to see what can we do to make sure that the police do their job, Yvonne.
Right.
And to those who still need to talk to us, please continue to send through your messages. This is Zimbabwe Daily, where we give you everything as it happens. And like we said one of our co-workers is in Gokwe and also has been attacked. So yes, imagine
she's lost equipment, you know, that we use for our broadcast, but all the same, begging Kosi Archie on Nkomo says we need to be proactive against ZANU and employ modern ways of exposing them. The president needs a drone to accompany him when on these campaign trips. With a drone, everything would have been captured and stored. Now, with clear images, evidence, and probably identification. Easy identification. Such things can be broadcasted and hooligans be exposed. We need to be ahead in this. Haven't used IT and internet as our leverage in such cases. Such a thing caught on a drone would be news everywhere by now. Cars and all right. Thank you so much, Becky. Maybe also what I can mention is that one of the journalists was Beto Antonio. He has a drone, but that equipment has since been taken. So
Even their keys, they cannot move from one place because their keys were taken.
the keys
by
to their
this
car,
guy.
yes,
Yeah.
it was taken. So they are injured and they are stuck there. There's no way they can move from that area because they don't have the keys to their car. They've lost their broadcast equipment. There's no network in Gokwe. So it's really, really sad where we are right now because we were failing to get through to them. They no longer have their phones. They were taken. We are failing to get hold of people who are in Gokwe because of network challenges. It just says network, I don't know what it says, not available at the moment. So we have a situation where we actually don't know what's happening in Gokwe because of network issues and the gadgets that these ladies and gentlemen had were taken away. So that
Very
is
expensive
another
gadgets.
very expensive
Yeah.
gadgets.
And
It's gonna take us a while.
Imagine, good, and you take an iPhone that belongs to someone, and you know how much it is for us people
They
to
don't
raise
know.
such gadgets to be able to be broadcasting. But we continue to update you as it happens and see what happens. But what I can encourage you is to stay safe. Encourage young people to go and register to vote because AMA 2000s are not registering to vote. So encourage your family members to register to vote. If you have voted, make sure you just dial *265# and check where you will be voting. And remember, there's also a polling station mapping. You just go for a certain polling station and say, hi, do we still have the phone number? And then make sure that you map the polling station that you belong to. But let's continue to also pray for our communities. But I think I would love to be part of the security team just to protect my other
You're a journalist. Try thanks Saona Nyikadzino says the challenge our people with our people, how can they still defend ZANU PF in a normal country? I think from elections, ZANU haifaniri kana kuwana one vote nyika yes. Unfortunately, we still have people with that belief. There are people who have got that attachment with ZANU PF. So you always find them. I think what I struggle with is why would somebody go and attack a fellow Zimbabwean just because they are trying to defend their party? Why not sell your party ideas, party policies without injuring me? So even if you try to convince any one of those attacked journalists or residents in Gokwe to say this is what you have to vote for, they are not going to agree because they've got a different picture of what ZANU PF does,
And
which is really, really bad for our politics, is bad for our country. And even if we want to develop our nation, it's not going to work on the basis of violence. It's the same thing that we talk about when we talk of domestic violence, when we talk of gender-based violence. So we cannot even have the government speaking on these issues because they are the number one perpetrators of such things. And this is really, really sad and disappointing, to say the least.
You just reminded me of the last by-election, the 26 March by-elections. So, from my community where I come from in Chitumbisa, St. Mary's, we also had a by-election. So the ZANU-PF candidate was giving people, ufumaneru and sugar, something like that. So, people from Miami Park, where I stayed at the area that phase 5 near St. Mary's police station, they then voted for, the Triple C candidate. And there was no ZANU-PF, there was no one who voted for ZANU-PF at a certain polling station. And the next day when I was trying to just check as I was covering the election, I wanted to see what was happening. And then I met this woman who was saying, everyone from Miami Park, it's Zosai Ufu, and you know what I say to that woman? I just say to her, do you know what? The people that you are fighting for are not even in Chitumbisa. They don't even know that you always go to a borehole to fetch water. And when you get to a borehole, which is near Rufaro, kudhaya mvura inenge zvinhuwa sewage. It's you, munhu munosangana everyday mucommunity, and you are representing someone anogara kumashoni kure kure. So why can't you just stay as the same people from the same community with your different political perspective? Ashina basa kuti unosapota patipi ndichisapota patipi, but what brings us together is we are all Zimbabweans.
Right.
So why should we continue to fight each other? And I think it's because these people, they will be intimidated to do that.
I don't know, but it's really. Sekaim Tasa is asking, is our president Nelson Chamisa safe? So far, the information that we have is he was taken away by his security team and he is safe. We don't know to what extent, because we haven't had an update as yet. So we'll keep on checking our social media handles. We'll keep checking our inboxes to see if they are all right. Young journalists, the young journalists. Association notes with sadness and disappointment an attack on journalists covering a Triple C Zimbabwe rally in Gokwe on Thursday. Tonio, Tongai Mwenje, Pelagia Mpuru, and Chelsea Mashea Mombe were beaten up by suspected ZANU-PF supporters who sought to stop the rally. Part of Mwenje's forehead was cut. Rutsito lost a tooth, while Mashemambe and Purwa suffered bruises all over their bodies. The obvious onslaught on members of the Fourth Estate is worrying, especially heading into an already tense final stage of the electoral cycle. We call on Police Zimbabwe to act on perpetrators without fear or favor. Journalism is the hallmark of a functional democracy, and an attack on media practitioners is a clear sign of its absence. Yeah, that message coming through from the Young Journalists Association of Zimbabwe, Yoja. And, this is very important, that journalism is the hallmark of a functional democracy, and an attack on media practitioners is a clear sign of its absence. And this, I think, is an indictment to all of Zimbabweans who really want Zimbabwe to function. Teminax Domingo is saying, we are now depending on us, the youth, to go and register to vote. Indeed, we need to do that. Enias, thank you, Zim Daily, for being on the ground to bring this naked violence to the world. Such acts of violence used to go unheard. They remained untold stories, and ZANU-PF wrote on that. We are agitated by this, and we are being activated for action. Nothing will stop this change, that is sure. This is an unstoppable wind. Days for ZANU-PF are numbered. These are mere last kicks of a dying horse. Let's all release internet bullets by sharing such heinous acts happening in Gokwe. Thank you so much, Enias Chinengo. Indeed, we're trying by all means. One of the things that we believe in is the ability to give coverage to everyone. I mean, if you look at today, the president, Emerson Mnangagwa, was also at another function, where he was attending, and no one, disturbed him or stopped him from, the activities that he was doing. So if we're saying that our country is a democracy, then we should be having a situation whereby, people are free to do what they can. And, we saw this tweet from engineer MCVO. He says, we are under siege in Gokwe, 8 ZANU-PF Youth League Rangers chasing everyone in yellow, disrupting business in the CBD. This was earlier on in the morning, where, the 4x4s, it shows you that it's not the ordinary Gokwerian involved in this.
Very true,
It's those people who are coming in these 4x4s and disrupting life in a rural community like Gokwe. People want to know. Allow everyone to get information from, and then they choose based on information that they have to say, this is the kind of candidate that I want,
And newzimbabwe.com also posted 18 minutes ago, violence in Gokwe. CCC party has been blocked from holding a rally in Chitekete by suspected ZANU-PF mobs. They wanted to attack Triple C leader Nelson Chamisa, and he was whisked away from the scene by his security. I like the alertness of his security as well. And sometimes, the president of Triple C can be stubborn and try to be vari panzvimbo, and then the security just say no, you just have to be safe first
All right.
before.
So I'm just getting information from one of the journalists in Gokwe saying, "How are you, my sister? Sorry, we are currently making a police report." This is because I was trying to get hold of them just to ascertain how they are. So they are now making a police report right there in Gokwe. So we are hoping that we'll be able to get more information. So they're Gokwe Chitekete, and they are making their report that side. So we just continue to keep our fingers crossed, that everything is okay at that side. So we continue to pray for them, and also to hope that the police, as they get these reports, interestingly, the police has to be given a report about violence that's taking place in their own area,
police, yeah.
and yet they are not on the ground, to protect the citizen, because
Yeah.
they've got a primary role to protect the citizen and to arrest the perpetrators. There are cars there that have been identified. There are photos of those, ZANU-PF 4x4s in the area. We've been doing. Why are the cars not, in police custody?
Oh, yes,
We
very
saw what happened with people in Nyatsime. Those transporters who were merely hired to ferry people. They are rotting in a Chukurubi there, and their trucks are parked, in police custody as evidence. So you begin to realize that when people talk of selective application of the law, this is exactly what
How
they are
they are
talking
doing,
about.
yeah.
Why are those trucks still moving? Why do we have chaos 5 hours later? If this rally was supposed to take place at midday, and already it was tense in the morning, so why did the police not move in to protect the citizens in that area? So these are the questions that we continue to ask.
Oh,
And you get
yes.
arrogant responses, from those authorities, who then tell you that the police are there, they are doing their job. Which job? We begin to ask. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for continuously sending through your messages. We really, really appreciate that. You said, these are just hired thugs by former State Security Minister Owen Muda Ncube. Thank you so much for your message. And it's interesting though that the ZANU-PF second secretary was in the same area around Gokwe. As you know, there is a by-election next week for MP in Gokwe Kabuyuni, and so these are some of the rallies that the candidates are doing as a last minute wrap of their campaign period. So the Triple C is also has got a candidate, Honorable Kirsten Muguti, who will be standing in for that by-election. So they were also doing their mop-up rally. We saw the second secretary of ZANU-PF, Mr. Kembo Mohade, in the area just a few days ago. So, and
Nothing happened to him.
nothing happened. So why do we see this ugly head of violence arising? Jasper, you say most of these police, they come through youth services, my green bombers, vagara brains, and it's sad.
Yeah, very
We
sad.
may laugh at it, but right now, what I know is we saw it with Nyatsime. It's not going to be safe for people in Gokwe right now, where they are. And it's disappointing that people, that the police don't take these issues seriously. It's unfortunate that our police services has been reduced to being like an appendage of a security department of a political party. It's really disappointing, because if they were right on their toes, we wouldn't be having such chaos. Last time when there was a rally in Gokwe, it was in Gokwe again,
Yes,
that
it
their
was.
by-election campaign didn't actually take place. People are hungry for information from the different candidates. If President Mnangagwa goes right now, he's going to address, a crowd, because people want to hear what is it that he's saying, about what is happening in our country. They also want to hear from the alternative.
Yeah.
So that they're able, they're
can choose
equipped.
for
They can
themselves
choose for
whoever they
themselves,
want. Yeah, it is
Clemi
their right.
Vidic Junior, Jorwadza, Jinotorwadza. And something needs to be done. And Milton thinks Please, people, register to vote and make sure you vote next year. We need to vote yes. And we need an environment that is conducive for people to be able to vote.
To
This
vote
is just not
peacefully.
tenable.
Yeah, because you're just thinking, how will this end? And are people really safe? Especially, we can also talk of women, because these two journalists who were attacked, two of them are females, very young females.
Right.
And you're just thinking, are they thinking right
Yeah.
now? Will they continue with their job? In such an environment, will they be able to report freely? Because they'll be afraid of these people, so I think we just have to maintain peace and order in Zimbabwe, and to do this is difficult if ZRP doesn't do anything, and if the Zimbabwean president does not address this also. And this is scary, one. It's very
Yeah,
scary.
it's actually quite sad because we've got students who are on attachment. We've got with their seniors there, and they get to be to go through this. It can either strengthen them, or it can actually push them off the boundaries to then say ndofire, vana vadiki, and they have to go through such attacks. It's really, really unfortunate.
And this one asked answer karari ko the rally is still on.
Oh, we can't really tell now because the information that we got earlier was that they to whisk away the president, but we continue to follow through the information.
Anzi Gokwe makateya teya teya, munogara makateya teya. So this is a recent pic from the venue where the rally will be held.
Is it really the
I can see Honorable Chibaya there.
Right. Unfortunately, we're trying to keep calling these people who are on the ground so that we know what exactly is happening. But unfortunately, we're not really getting much joy from that side. I was trying to call the Triple C deputy spokesperson, Ostalo Sizi, but the number is not going through. It keeps on, just bouncing back. So we are not exactly in the know of what is the situation on the ground, but we'll keep on trying to call them because we want to hear what is happening on the ground.
So yeah, let's continue to encourage people to register to vote and check if you're still in the voters roll and where you will be voting at in the next general elections. Let's continue to participate, and those who also can help to make sure that we encourage young people, especially young people, to register to vote. In terms of women, we have no problem because the majority of women, the most bigger population of registered voters are women.
Do you happen to have any pictures that you can share that we can share with with people online, just to show what exactly is happening in Gokwe right now?
You need the pictures of violence or
The rally.
the rally?
You talked about a picture, and people are asking, can we
Where's
see the picture? Yes.
So it's here.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
All right. So we're trying to just to share with you some of the some
Current
of the
picture.
current.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not too sure. Is that even current? That's the thing. We don't know what exactly
because
is
the
happening
honorable is
there.
not answering his phone,
Yeah.
and people are saying, because when we tried to call that guy, he said, "Wait a minute, we're just trying to, go to Sena president," and just being afraid that also the media team, their keys were taken, and there's no way that they can also move from one place to another. If we were to follow them right now to go and pick them up, just where Gokwe is and where we are right now, it's a bit tricky, but yeah.
And
for
we
sure.
have Chennai here, who is of the opinion that people must be beaten. And zero why Dimi Muriku Konzeresa. Maybe Chennai, you have got information that the rest of Zimbabwe does not have. What do you mean when you say Rowai Dimi Muriku Konzeresa? We just need to have that information so that people don't just, because who applies to be beaten.
And also, Chennai, it is not you who can tell people what to do, because it is their constitutional right to be affiliated with any political party that they might desire. So when you are saying Paticha Zoshika next year, Muyende Kurali, Munenge Manzwane Kurowa, it means probably what happens probably are also in the plans of what happens to people. So please, you can just elaborate and help
Yes,
us with more
please.
information so that we will get to know. Anzi garai mudzimba
Garai
mofira
mudzimba
mahara nayo
mofira
pati yenyu.
mahara nayo
Wow.
pati yenyu iyo. Interesting. I mean, people are
Yeah.
entitled to their opinions, and
Yeah.
Chennai, you are really entitled to your opinions. I'm not too sure if you are privy of the electoral act that we have in Zimbabwe, and maybe we can just help you understand some of the sections that are provided for by the Constitution of Zimbabwe,
Yeah.
right? Because it's really, really critical that people understand their rights. They understand the what it means for us to have democratic elections and what it means to have political rights as a citizen. Because sometimes I think maybe we could be talking to people who actually don't know, the type of women who stay in an abusive marriage because you know ndiye ari kukonzeresa. These are the kinds of aunties who you go to and say, I'm having problems. They say kuti hausi kunatsogeza. When I
Yeah.
tell you that I'm being
Yeah.
abused,
Yeah.
but
Very
all the
true.
same, Donald Danzi speaking English, guys, not all of us comprehension. Sure, definitely, we understand that we're trying to make sure that we speak in as much English as we can, but as you know, it's an important language, so sometimes you also get to
Romeo.
Romeo and Chennai ZANU-PF, don't waste time to ask her. She's benefiting from corrupt government. Wow,
Wow, why Recheni?
iye ngaatiudzewo chaachapuhwa kana afa. Yes, istofira mahara kweiwe chena. Yeah, so yeah.
Sometimes you don't have just to hate your other fellow Zimbabwean because he or she supports something which is different from what you support. It is your right, Chennai, to support ZANU-PF.
Yeah.
It is someone's right to also support Triple C or either ZIP or any political party because the
Yes.
constitution says so, right?
If you go through the constitution, it says that subject to the constitution and this act, which is the electoral act, every election shall be conducted in a way that is consistent with the following principles, and these are the principles that I shall be reading. The authority to govern derives from the will of the people, demonstrated through elections that are conducted efficiently, freely, fairly, transparently, and properly on the basis of universal and equal suffrage, exercised through a secret ballot, and every citizen has the right to participate in government directly or through freely chosen representatives, and is entitled without distinction on the ground of race, ethnicity, gender, language, political or religious belief, education, physical appearance or disability, or economic or social condition to stand for office and cast a vote freely. 2, to join or participate in the activities of and to recruit members of a political party of his or her choice. 3, to participate in peaceful political activity intended to influence the composition and policies of government. And 4, to participate through civic organizations in peaceful activities to influence and challenge the policies of government. Now, everyone has, within the confines of the law, the right to operate freely, the right to put up or sponsor a candidate in any election, to campaign freely, But when ZANU-PF comes out to attack people who are going for a rally, that must be the new law that we have reached as a nation, and it's really, really disappointing.
Yeah, and also Fadzai Mahere says the journalists report that they were made to lie face down on the tarmac. ZANU-PF thugs beat them up and left them severely injured. Antonio lost his tooth. Their car keys and cell phones were taken, which has delayed them seeking badly needed medical assistance to make sure that they are safe. So, this is really sad for sure.
Yeah, it's really sad. So we are also getting information from other partners who are trying to get as much information from the ground. So talked to one of the journalists. It is a sad story. One of the girls fainted, and they had to pour her water to resuscitate her. They are making a police report. The guy's one has a cracked forehead while the other lost a tooth. So this is the situation in Gokwe right now, and that is the sad circumstances that are happening. Yeah, so yeah, they're still in Gokwe.
Mhm.
We are
Chimuregai
hoping that
chenai chimuregai shoko ramwari rinoti kana ukarohwa on your left side unongopa zvekare the other right side, so musiyei maybe hanzwisise or maybe whatever, but let's continue to encourage people to register to vote, because we are only 12 months before the next general election, and we'll continue to give you updates from Gokwe, what will be happening as it happens, because here at Zimbabwe Daily we are always fast and always here to make sure that we give you the updates as we continue to talk and make sure that people are at a safe place. So we'll continue to update you as we get the news from the ground from our
yes,
journalists.
Pelo feels that it's a copy and paste of Zambia. This is what was happening before HH got into office. And I think it's really sad that in Africa, whenever there's an election, people have to go through such a sad scenario. Chibareta says Mazimba, why kushandiswa? Oh, it's really sad. I'm actually disappointed,
With
that
Zimbabweans, yeah.
people would be angry on behalf of people who are looting. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate,
yeah,
that
yeah.
we get to be angry on behalf of people who are looting our natural resources,
And the
looting.
ZANU-PF is police is captured by ZANU-PF. So yeah, yeah.
It's really, really unfortunate that um, so it's really, really disappointing that this is what we get to see right here in Zimbabwe. We are coming to you live from our Zimbabwe Daily Studios, and we continue to follow the story, especially given that our journalists are on the ground right now. They're at the police station making a police report. So we pray and hope that they'll be able to travel safely out of Gokwe. And we are hoping that the police would swoop in, with the same precision and energy that they've shown us whenever, the opposition is accused of having done something. So this is we continue to give you updates of what is happening
Eh,
from Gokwe.
Yeah,
Yes.
and also Yvonne, also for that violence that happened in Seke Ward 6, it is also alleged that the current MPs and PF MP also made sure that he mobilized people to attack the Triple C, residents who were coming to attend a rally. So yes, we continue to encourage people to, just go and register to vote. Just make sure that you're also safe, because your safety matters. We will need you to vote in 2023. And this is it here at Zimbabwe Daily, always fast and fast. So make sure that you send through your messages and follow us on our social media platforms. Continue to share this live. You will be able to stand a chance to win a t-shirt or a cap.
Thank you so much, Zimbabwe, for coming through on this live broadcast. Anzina Romeo, we are cowards as Zimbos. Imagine being beaten for your democratic right. Unfortunately and sadly, we are a very peaceful people. We are a very peaceful nation. Unfortunately, sadly, we have okay, I will not say this live on air, but all the same, we all appreciate the situation right here in Zimbabwe. This has been a live broadcast coming to you right from our studios, and we continue to try and get hold of people in Gokwe. So let's just try one last time if we can actually get through to any of our journalists there, and hear what exactly is happening. um yeah, so if you're just tuned in, sad developments happening in Gokwe, where the Triple C was supposed to be having a rally in Gokwe today. Unfortunately, violence rocked the place. We have seen a number of people coming through and telling about the problems that they encountered. That side advocates says you don't use violence if you are operating in your stronghold. And yes, Tonio has tweeted, we have been attacked, heavily assaulted for taking pictures and videos of around 20 ZANU-PF vehicles which had blocked Chitekete business shops 90 kilometers from Gokwe. So this is a message that just came through from Tonio. So we keep trying to call him Tonio. He is the chairperson of the Zimbabwe Online Content Creators as well. So we will try to make sure that we get information of exactly what happened and exactly how the situation is right now. So if you can just bear with us a little bit as we try to. Please try again later. So I think because of the network issues that side, this number is not available at the moment. Let's see if we can try another of the journalists that is on the ground. So that is what has been happening in Gokwe. Situation escalated pretty quickly. Yes, and right. Let's see if they're able to actually talk to us. This number is ringing. It's actually quite interesting. I will share. I'll just share this page so that you see what's also happening on the other side. So those are the pictures that we have from coming through from Shamba, where the president was commissioning a clinic, and I see that the government spokesperson Nick Mangwana is, speaking glowingly about what's happening there. He says brown chocolate is good for the heart. Chaunga chati baba mnangagwa muri chocolate. Let's just hear that. Anzi kudenga kure.
And I'm just thinking, you know what I was saying to Mama Lynn, a few minutes ago. It's not easy for someone to wear a uniform at church, right? You just have to work for it. I know you used to be in an old church that you have to spend a year trying to wear a uniform, and then you see some others, they just get there and then
and they're singing, at church. They're supposed to be at church, but they are busy, singing about chocolate and stuff like that. And as government will talk of development, even our soldiers, now we are in peace times, they are assisting us in building this country through various projects. Whew.
soldiers are
through various projects. Each one of us should play a part in building our country. President, I think the rhetoric is always good. Unfortunately, it's not meeting what's happening on the ground.
Panapa vamajinesta vakaita mucherechedzo, vakakupai gemedzi, vakakupai chimbo, vakakupai masenzi, vakakupai zita rekuti vagadza mutungamiri wenyika. Munotofanira kutopedza matemu enyu ese. Matemu enyu ese munotofanira kuti vapedza nokuti ndimi makagadzwa. Hakuna zvemumwe watakagadzwa. Kana makanzwa vachitaura zvokunyeba vaigata vanhu ndavamajinesta vakatigadzira ini rufa reafrica. Saka ipapo tinotopapemberera kuti ndiwo mutungamiriri wedu. Izvozvi ndingade kuti vadzidzi vari kuzovhotera Idi Mnangagwa gore ramangwana simudzai maoko.
Oh my God.
South Africa. Ko vari kuzovhotera mamwe mapato anenge masisi.
It's a church
Hakuna
meeting.
izvozvo.
It's a church meeting.
Sokuti tinototi kana takatendeuta munhu
He's even shaking.
chinhu chokutanga tinobva tamutaurira kuti ototeera ZANU-PF. Chikonzero chatinoteerera ZANU-PF ndechekuti varungu vana vasatani. Saka project yese yavanenge vaita inofanana nepati yavo. Ukawanika uri mudzidzi uchiiteera zvinoreva kuti wateera satani, saka kudenga huende.
Mufundisi.
My God. So that is what's happening on the other side of the of Zimbabwe, where the president is or was earlier on today. But yeah, all the same, that is the kind of leadership that a lot of people find themselves with at the churches. People are being asked to show their allegiance during a church meeting, and anything that is white people is is evil, and they belong to Satan. So
At a church meeting.
So yeah, we keep trying to get hold of our journalists in
Gokwe.
Gokwe, just so that we hear if they are okay, if we're going to receive them home today or what, because precedence has been pretty poor. So yeah, that is the situation right now in our country. And yeah, that means talking is possessed. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Very sad.
But this is the
But it's also shaking. You can see that it's all about intimidation. They've given him a speech to say at church, and he's just scared.
but I think it's about time people just refuse to be used, man.
I don't know.
All right, so that was a live that we brought to you to talk about what's happening in Gokwe. We don't have exact situation right now because the phones are not exactly going through. The last time we spoke to someone, they were telling us that the situation was tense. So Zimbabwe Human Rights NGO Forum has sent us a statement as well. Election Watch Gokwe, it's with sadness that 4 journalists were caught on crossfire by suspected ZANU-PF officials, hooligans. We urge churches and community leaders to pray for our country. The state must work to respect the right of citizens. This is a tweet coming through from the Zimbabwe Human Rights Monitors. So Monitors platform on Twitter. So that's what's been happening on Twitter today. It's really been active, and we have We have the Triple C spokesperson giving us a update of what's happening. So we are hoping that we'll also be able to get information right from the venue to know exactly what is happening in Gokwe right now. Right. So yes, thank you so much for tuning in. We will definitely keep you updated on all our social media platforms. So do keep us informed. Thank you so much for All right, so now we are trying to get hold of the Triple C spokesperson, Fadzai Mahere, so that we just get to hear an official voice from the party of exactly what is happening on the ground. So her phone is ringing, so we hope she'll be able to pick up and speak to us. Okay, so she is dropping the line. She's just asked me to text. Do tell us where you are tuning in from and what information you have. I would want to hear from you as well. What do you think should be done in order for us to get into a situation where it is safe for us to be in our country as we look to elections come 2023? We're just a few months away from elections, Tsitsi,
for
and
sure.
and this is what we get to experience. It's really, really sad. And Zach has not said anything. I was hoping to find something from Zach. The ZRP has not said anything
Anything
at
so
all
far, yeah.
so far. So for me, it's really worrisome to then say, where exactly are we going? What is it that we are going to see coming up in the next few months. Now we see, things happening in Limpopo. We all blame that Mac, for speaking to that patient. Of course, it was not right. I was really hurt, and I thought, if it was me, if I was the patient, in that hospital, I would completely feel violated, by the utterances of this Mac. But you know they're equally frustrated. They've got a workload that is higher than normal because of our challenges here you know yeah, Titi.
I'm just disturbed, and because we're trying to reach out to them and they are not available, and you're just thinking, how are they right now? What are they doing? Are they really safe? And let's continue to, ZAN PF should just stop being violent, because every year I'm just thinking of the 2008 election, and we're just thinking this continue to happen every time, and the government still does nothing about it. So I think the government should play a bigger role to make sure that they fight, they say something about violence. And I think even the president of Zimbabwe should say a word, because he is the president. Whatever he
Yes.
says, people will listen. So he should make a statement just to encourage people to stop violence, because there's nothing that we
I
can
don't
achieve
I
from
don't think the
violence.
president has stopped talking about peace. I mean, he was in Shamba, he was talking about development, he was talking about peace. I'm not exactly sure that another utterance is what we need. I think right now we just
need
need to see
arrests.
action. We just need to see
People should be
the police
arrested.
making appropriate arrests. Fadzaiba Heres posted on Twitter. I says, we condemn the violent attacks by ZANU-PF on President Nelson Chamisa, journalists and citizens. Violence is a tool of the weak. As we approach the Gokwe by-election, Triple C has a right to campaign and assemble. ZANU-PF violent tactics confirm they've lost popular support. And she put up what she calls the 7 electoral reform demands: the right to vote, a credible voters roll, a credible real-time results announcement system, integrity of ZEC personnel and polling materials, media reforms, security of the voter, and political freedoms. These are rights, that people want, as they go for elections. It's there in the constitution. I'm not
Yeah.
exactly even sure that we should be calling for electoral reforms. I think
Because
we
it's
should
there
be
in the
calling for
Constitution.
implementation,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
all these
We have
things
a
are
very
provided
good.
for.
Do you know what our constitution? Our constitution is very good.
It
It's very
is
good
on paper.
Yeah, but in terms of implementation, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, we continue to follow through. We continue to follow through with Triple C leaders to hear what is happening. We're just hoping that we'll be able to get either Fadzai Mahere or Ostalos Siziba to give us a quick update on what is happening in Gokwe and the situation right now, and what the party is going to do given that this situation continues to be sad and to be really tense that side. So yeah, but all the same, thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Greater Chief from where? We don't want juju in Zimbabwe. We want people to find the change that they want in the way that they want that change. So yes, we'll continue to send you updates on what's happening. It's bye bye for now.